Have you ever been on holiday and felt like you only got a tiny glimpse of what the place was really like? In 2025, it's time to change that. Today, I'm sharing 5 reasons why you should travel abroad like a local so you can truly immerse in the culture that you are exploring. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be planning your next trip in a completely different way. So, why travel like a local? Because it's about connection, authenticity, and creating unforgettable memories. And stick around to the end, I'll share a bonus tip that has made all the difference in my own travels. Oh, by the way, if you're new to my YouTube channel, hello, I'm Rachelle. Here, I explore the intersection of Western and Eastern cultures, share my journey learning French, and inspire you to step out of your comfort zone. I'm on a journey from being an entrepreneur in a fast-paced business world in Hong Kong to building my career in the educational sector in the UK, offering people a taste of Mandarin. I just found that discovering new cultures and new languages has much more fun and makes me grow. Navigating life across continents is adventurous, but isn't easy. If you're currently thinking about living abroad at some point in your life, but there are still lots of things holding you back, why don't you simply try traveling abroad like a local in 2025 first? I'm taking you to see the beauty of stepping into the unknown. If you haven't get a chance to subscribe to my channel and have not followed my Instagram account yet, I really hope that you can do so now, which is a great encouragement for an ENFJ like me to get motivated to produce more inspirational videos ahead. The first reason why you should travel abroad like a local, I would say, is about the authentic food experiences. In Chinese, there's a saying, 民以食为天,民以食为天, which is a phrase saying food is the god of people. Food is not just something to eat, it's also a bridge that conveys emotions, maintains relationships. In the West, although food is not much involved in greetings, it also has a place in social occasions such as family dinners and gatherings with friends. If you happen to travel to Oriental countries like China, Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, or even Hong Kong, people do greeting with the sentence like, "Have you eaten yet?" 食咗飯未啊? Rather than, "How are you?" Like every time when I video call my parents, the first thing they say to me is normally, "Have you had your lunch or dinner yet?" Rather than asking, "How's your day today?" Oh wait, it seems that they have never asked how my days are, but they concern more about what I have had for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So simply talking about the greeting in food can already have that kind of long history and cultural meaning to say for the Chinese community. Can you imagine if it dives into the food itself? Oh gosh, eating like local is one of the most exciting parts of traveling. Forget about the touristy restaurants, locals know where the real gems are. Whether it's a tiny food store, a bustling market, or neighborhood cafes, you get a true taste of culture through its food. I think normally the best place that local people go to may not look really decent or luxurious or Instagrammable. Instead, they might be the old places that have been established for ages and a lot of royal and old customers go. I've just been to Paris in the last 2 weeks and luckily to pop into one traditional French restaurant in which I would say 80% of the customers surrounding me aged 60 or more, so as the owners. If you dream of the bilingual menu, but you certainly only have one French menu, but the taste and place offered on the menu, oh my god, it was the best. I don't compare it with those Michelin stars restaurants because they must be good. I mean, they are expensive, of course, they need to be good, but the point I refer to here is all about the vibes, the way it serves you, not the politeness, but the most French way. And food can retain the traditional taste rather than the fusion styles. What's more exciting is that you always feel surprised with what you order. I really want to share with you, like in Japan, when you go to a ramen restaurant and eat ramen, of course, it will be a true respect to the chef if you eat your noodles with so much sound. So here's one example. Hot, hot, hot.
There you go.
But you know what? This kind of eating sound as a table manner is absolutely unacceptable in most of the Western countries. So that could be one of the cultural shocks to the travelers when they visit Japan. Also in Hong Kong, do you know what kind of food is the most traditional? 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! It's the street food. Holding the hot food standing on the streets and tasting them without even caring about what people think is the best. I know it's illegal in most Western countries, at least it doesn't look decent in the UK, but if you go to like Asian countries like in Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan and so on, eating street food is the tradition of tradition. I have one favorite restaurant in Hong Kong that is built with iron roofs on stone slabs on the street, and if you are a foreigner you may not feel really good going there, but I assure you that the milk tea, toast and noodles with tomato soups are the best. Like last time, even if I only happened to return back to Hong Kong for only 2 days for a wedding, I also needed to pay a visit. These are the restaurants that tourist guides would not tell you. In Hong Kong, there's one restaurant that's very famous for food arriving within 30 seconds, and the time between you sit down and taking orders is only allowed to be like in 30 seconds as well. When you finish your meal, you don't ever dream of sitting there and chatting, holding the table for longer than 5 minutes, just because by that time you'll be urged to bill and be kicked out of the restaurant. This is insane, right? But this holds the true Hong Kong spirit, you know, the fast-paced city and money-making city. But I assure you again, the milk tea and Hong Kong style all-day breakfast, which is ham macaroni in soup, fried eggs and toast, are really tasty and delicious. Well, you know what? Maybe they would be nicer if you were a traveler. If you happen to go some days, please let me know if they allow you to think about what to order for a slightly longer time. But how I can find out these kind of hidden gems in those countries? YouTube and Instagram can be the source, but be careful, because if the video or the posts become viral, then the hidden gems are no longer hidden anymore. So if you still have to filter, ask the local people directly is definitely wise. So what does it mean? It means that you don't plan anything before you actually land the place. Anything you can plan ahead is probably from the sources online that everyone can be able to search for. So if you get that information, why can't I? And the second reason why you should travel abroad like a local is about the immersive cultural connections. Traveling like a local allows you to meet people who actually live there. It could be chatting with a vendor at the market, joining a community event, or simply staying in a homestay rather than a hotel. Except for in Thailand, where you must enjoy all those outstanding villas and resorts. I used to stay in hostels when I was young and single, B&B, or in fact Airbnb now, when I got older and traveled with my family, especially in the European countries. The main reason, of course, is about the price. No, it's about the value, I would say. Staying in hotels is super expensive in Europe. I have no idea why, and the facilities may not be that really up to standard, I would say. So I would choose B&B by default. However, the surprise is here. Staying in a hostel or B&B simply allows you to interact with other people and the house owner very easily. Say for example, I went to the south of Taiwan many years ago, and the host recommended a lot of lovely places to us that we don't even need to queue to get in because tourists won't go. Another example is that in France, that B&B apartments are usually full of artistic decoration, which emerges with l'art du vivre, which means the art of living. And honestly, I always get inspiration from their home decor. I will usually take pictures of specific ideas and try to buy similar items back home to decorate my own house. By renting B&B, I can choose to stay in a house with or without a garden, be close to or not be close to the sea, in the city center or in a suburban area. A lot of these allow you to taste what you like or what you don't like. I mean, I didn't know that I didn't feel like a house close to the sea simply because of the humidity until I actually lived there. Well, who knows until you try, right? So yeah, this is why I think think the best way you should travel like a local is to live in the place of a local. I want to share a story with you about the year before we actually moved to England. We spent 2 weeks in different towns and cities to get a taste and see where we wanted to settle. We lived in a house in a suburban area, and we also lived in an apartment in the city center to compare the differences. We asked the B&B owner of the house in the suburb area see if there were any good schools for my child, and she really did recommend an infant school that her grandchildren also went to. So I immediately requested a school tour. You can never imagine that even though I pre-arranged more than 10 schools visit beforehand, the school that the B&B owner recommended was the one that my son loved the most and felt the most comfortable. So then that became the choice of the school, and we chose to settle in that area close to the school, which has led us here for the years. See, connecting with the local culture is just that magical, and you never know where it's gonna take you and what will surprise you. The third reason why you should travel abroad like a local is that language learning comes naturally. When you travel like a local, you're immersed in the language of your destination in a way that no textbook or mobile app can replicate. Whether it's ordering food at a family-run restaurant, chatting with a barista at a cafe, or asking directions in the local park, these authentic interactions help you pick up phrases naturally. I went to France 3 times last year, one in the southeast for skiing, one in the southwest for Olympics, and one in Paris for Christmas, not to mention traveling to the north of France the year before last year as well. The reason I always travel to France in recent years is simply because I want to let myself immerse in the French language environment, since I've been learning French language starting 2 years ago. But even though I travel to any new country, I would always be keen on learning about the language of the country. For example, I traveled to Dubai once. This was the only place with the Arabic language that I've ever visited. I was so surprised that Arabic comes from the right to left when you read or write, which is completely opposite to English. On the other hand, when I went to South Korea, I was amazed at the traditional Chinese character they used in the palace because of the historical and cultural reasons, and how they evolved to the way it is now today with the Korean characters that none I can recognize. Also, I went to Thailand a couple of times before, so I would greet the Thai people with the basic greetings like Sawadee Krap for the men and Sawadee Ka for the women. Please correct me if I done it wrong. By stepping into the shoe of the locals, you expose yourself to the rhythm and flow of the language in real life context. This accelerates learning because you are not just memorizing vocabulary, you're experiencing the culture and understanding how the language connects with everyday life. Here's one of my favorite parts about traveling like a local. It's the easiest way to improve your language skills without even realizing it. Just think about it. You're surrounded by the language everywhere you go. Every conversation, every menu, every street sign become a mini lesson. You learn not just the words, but also the cultural context behind them. If you're traveling to improve your language skills, take it one step further. The first one, write down new phrases you hear during the day. And the second one, use a language app to practice vocabulary related to the places you visit. And the third one is to make an effort to ask questions in the local language, even if it's just a simple like, what is this? Where's the toilet? Can you recommend it to me? Even just learning a few basic phrases in the local language can open up so many doors. A smile and a simple thank you go a long way. Reason number 4, saving money. That's very important unless you tell me you don't have a budget limit to go traveling. Traveling like a local often means avoiding the tourist traps that charge premium prices. Local transportation, small restaurants, and free community events can make your trip more budget friendly. And hey, saving money on small things mean you can splurge on what really matters, like that amazing day trip or keepsake to remember your journey. I still remember when in Edinburgh, we got rid of those whiskey museums but went to some cozy small pubs and asked the Scottish owner to recommend a few nice whiskey for us to try. Such an experience was just fantastic. He could be as knowledgeable as the tour guide who offered you the whiskey experience. So where did we find the cozy small pubs? It's just down the street close to our B&B, and a few of them were literally recommended by the Scottish B&B house owner. And finally, the reason 5 that you have to travel like a local is all about your own personal growth. Traveling like a local doesn't just show you a destination, it changes you. You come home with stories because you might make mistakes. You may get kicked out by the restaurant in Hong Kong simply because you didn't make your choice to order in under 30 seconds. You come home with new perspectives because your stereotypes mindset thinks that Chinese people are loud and noisy, but inside they are warm and care only about whether you've had your lunch yet. You come home with a deeper appreciation for other cultures because you see the beauty of rusty parts of other countries, and so you appreciate more or reflect more about your own countries or your own behavior. Travel is about so much more than seeing new places. It's about how those places shape you. And trust me, those lessons stay with you for life. So if you fancy traveling like a local in 2025, I would also recommend 4 places you must go to whenever you travel to whichever country. First on my list is bookshops. There is something magical about stepping into a local bookstore or music record store, whether it's a tiny independent shop filled with rare finds or a larger place showcasing books in the local language. Even if I can't read them in that particular language, I love seeing what stories are popular and what history or culture is being shared. I try to make it a habit for my child as well, so every time he travels with us, he goes to the local bookshop with us. That makes him never complain about not understanding the languages because he would simply wandering in the shops and have a look at the books that are presented, search for the categories that he likes, and look at the pictures of the books. Sometimes I would also buy one book as a little souvenir for myself even though I don't understand the language in it. It makes a collection and footprints of how many different countries I've been to and how many different cultures I've tried to explore in my life. A few years later, it could become one of the best traveling memories that you can share with your family and friends. Oh, not forget to mention, they are usually quiet heavens where you can take a break from the busy day exploring when you travel. The next one is cafe. Cafes are more than just a place to grab coffee. They are the little windows into daily life. You sit down, you order a drink, and just people watch for a while. It's one of the best ways to feel the rhythm of the city and town. Cafes in Hong Kong are usually used for meeting and working with laptops. They are crowded and kind of noisy, and people with laptops love sitting close to the electric plug because they are prepared to sit for a couple of hours with just one cup of coffee so their computer can be easily charged. While cafes in Europe are mostly about reading and chilling and chatting with people, you can really see a lot of cultural differences here. And if you go, don't just stick to big chains. Find a small, locally owned spots where you might even strike up a conversation with the staff or other customers if you're keen to. The third place to visit is parks. Whether it's a small neighborhood park or large green space, parks are where locals go to relax, exercise, or spend time with family. And it's a great way to see another side of the life away from the touristy area. You can see kids playing, couples chilling, and so on. For me, there's something so grounding about being surrounded by nature, even if it's in the middle of the bustling city. In recent years, people have loved traveling to hike or camp, especially in Japan. Imagine you camp with the scenery of Fuji mountains. We actually went hiking when we traveled to Scotland 2 years ago. We also went camping when we went to the Lake District last year, which made me have a cultural shock when I first discovered that British people do not rinse after brushing their teeth as as well as washing their dishes. Asian, do you get me? It really was a cultural shock to me as an Asian because we must. I mean, we have to rinse our mouth after brushing our teeth and rinse the dishes after using washing up liquid. Of course, I know the reason why afterwards, but I only found this really interesting because being close to nature is fantastic to get to know about the local culture because people will be more real if they are in the nature. You know what I mean? I had a video sharing about our camping experience in Lake District last summer, and if you're interested, please click here to watch it. And finally, local restaurants with no bilingual menus. Yes, it might feel a little intimidating at first, but trust me, this is where you'll find some of the best food. It's a sign that locals love the place and that it hasn't been overly catered to tourists. I know that one reason that might hold you back from trying a real local restaurant is that you're afraid of going into a restaurant without understanding what it is. But don't worry, in the generation of 2025, we have Google Translate and mobile translator. Take a photo of the menu and it instantly translates it for you. You don't even need to bother typing every food name into your translator. That was how I used it to translate the French menu. If you don't understand certain things about the food, simply type your question in the mobile translator and it will immediately translate it for you, and then you just show your screen to the local people. That's it. Okay, the consequences are that you might get rolling eyes from the waitress or waiter, or you will be appreciated for your brave try and be very welcome to be recommended a lot of great food. Of course, you might end up ordering something unexpected, but hey, that's part of the adventure. So, if you're planning to travel like a local, make these spots part of your itinerary. They are simple and authentic, and you walk away feeling like you've truly experienced the heart of the place. Alright, now that we've covered why traveling like a local is such an incredible way to explore the world, now let's talk about how to actually do it. I know it might sound a little overwhelming at first, but don't worry, I'll break it down into simple steps. Plus, I'll share what you need to make this style of traveling work for you. First, let's talk about timing. To really immerse yourself in local culture, you need more than just a weekend. While it's possible to have meaningful local experiences in a short trip, ideally aim for at least 5 to 7 days, I would say. And this gives you time to move beyond the must-see attraction, explore local neighborhoods, markets, and community spaces, and don't feel pressures to pack your schedule with activities. Leave rooms for spontaneity. Remember, quality over quantity. It's better to truly experience a few things than to rush through everything on a checklist. Next, where you stay can make a big difference. Instead of staying in large hotels, maybe you can try homestays or Airbnb rentals in residential areas, or guest houses that are run by the locals, or even hostels, which are great for meeting other travelers who might share tips about the areas. And actually, recently I came across the concept of home swapping through an advert on Instagram. I've never tried it, but if any of you watching this video does, please share about it, how it works in the comment down below, and I would love to hear about your experience and review. Staying in these kind of places will put you closer to where locals actually live, eat, and hang out. Plus, hosts can often provide insider recommendations that you won't find online. And the third step is that before your trip, do some research and learn about the basic etiquette, like how to greet people or whether tipping is customary, the key cultural practices or holidays happening during your visit, or any strides going forward. Trust me, as I said, even a simple thank you or hello can go a long way. Most importantly, respect the culture. Traveling like a local means being a guest in someone else's home. Treat it with care and curiosity. Another key to immersing yourself is using local transportation, whether it's hopping on a bus, taking the metro, or even riding a bicycle, this is how you see the city through the eyes of the residents. Not only is it cheaper, but it's also a chance to observe everyday life and feel like you're part of the community. And lastly, don't be afraid to talk to people. Strike up a conversation with the shop owner, ask for recommendations, or join a local tour or workshop. Even small interactions can lead to amazing stories and insights. And yes, you might feel shy or worry about language barriers, but most people appreciate the effort and will be happy to help. A smile can do the wonders. So now you know why it is worth it if you travel like a local. But does it mean that this kind of cultural immersive traveling style is suitable for everyone? I cannot say so. So I'll tell you, to make the most out of the immersive traveling, here's the attributes that you need. The first one is to have enough time for traveling. Like I said, I would recommend at least 1 week to be ideal, but even a few days can work if you prioritize quality experiences. And the second one is the flexibility. I mean, be open to changes in plans. You know what? Some of the best moments happen unexpectedly. And the third one is the sense of curiosity. Approach everything with an open mind because you're here to learn, not to judge. And the fourth one is the basic preparation. I mean, research the basics of the culture, of the language, and the local transportation before you go. And most importantly, bring a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. That's where the magic happens. So those are the 5 reasons why you should travel like a local in 2025. A step-by-step guide to show you how to travel like a local, and a list of attitudes that you need for this style of traveling. Whether it's finding the right accommodation, diving into the local culture, or simply being open to new experiences, these tips will transform your travels in 2025. Oh, and here's my bonus tip. Start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire travel style overnight. Maybe you could try one local experience on your next trip, maybe just for 1 or 2 days with absolutely no plans, but only ask for recommendations upon your landing and see how it feels. Now, I would love to hear from you. What's your favorite way to travel like a local? Or if you haven't tried it yet, what's one thing you'd like to experience? If you also fancy traveling like a local, you may simply leave a comment with a suitcase emoji so I know this video resonates with you. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow travelers, subscribe to this channel for more tips and inspiration, because this action will help the video reach a lot more people. And if you fancy watching the traditional French restaurant that we had in Paris, I highly recommend you to click on this video now. So see you in the next video. Bye!